Hello again. I'm going to continue talking about psychometric science. Some of you may know that I am certified in the Myers-Briggs, and I not only have the ideas that are taught to me, also have my own theories that come from studying and then observing people's behavior, trying to analyze what has been given to me academically in an empirical form in real life. So I am a psychometric theoretician as well as practitioner. So, first psychometric theory from me is a theory of functional disequality. Functional disequality is the idea that just because you call something a given function does not mean it's the same thing. What do I mean by that? Well, if someone tries to explain to you a given function, that is factual, and it's a textbook dictionary definition for that function. However, I believe it will manifest differently, not just from person to person, but from personality to personality because of how functions, especially the one before and after, influence your understanding of that function. In particular, I believe that it's a bit like trees in a forest, that the main emphasis of your personality begins at your primary function, and as the second one develops, they are complementary. It's not a freestanding separate thing, but rather something that complements and is changed in its shape and function by that preceding thing, so that by the time you get to the third and fourth, which are where we're talking about the conscious personality, and we're talking about 1, 2, and 3, you have things that are forming your personality, but not three separate distinct things, but these holistic cooperative things. My introverted intuition is my first function. The other personality type with I'm an INTJ. The other personality type that starts with introverted intuition is an INFJ. You will see that there's an unbelievable amount of commonality and ability to communicate and understand each other on the purely intuitive intuition level. But they are different because they have to lean in terms of what is of psychometric interest toward that second function. That is, things that are about ideas and things and structures and shapes are the way that my head naturally leans its introverted intuition. As it scans the internal landscape for ideas and concepts, it picks up more readily, like a magnet across the ground trying to pick up iron filaments, iron filings. It will pick up things that are of more extroverted thinking nature. That is, can it be put into a goal? Can it be put into a structure? Can it be made into a plan? I'm about to bore you to death. As soon as I begin considering a series for outlining and making into a series of videos, I make a checklist. Checklists make me happy. Checklists make me feel productive. They make me feel like I'm moving in the direction of accomplishing something. And I assure you, the little hinge that sits between introverted intuition and extroverted thinking is a checklist. Whether your checklist looks like mine or not is not relevant, but it's how we take the inward ocean of possibilities and begin to scoop it up into the ice cube trays of goals. Ice cube trays of goals and plans. So that the introverted intuition of an INFJ is going to be picking up on patterns related to people, related to relationships, related to a master plan, but one that involves people and harmony and groups, so that those things are actually different things. They look different, and they look the same, but they behave differently. And there's the similarity becomes, what is the thing that is being picked up on and turned into a structure and a plan, and what is the thing that actually is worth debating and making an issue of. My second function is extroverted thinking. I spontaneously thought of ice cubes. That is, I'm taking the liquid amorphous thing that is the ocean of my intuition and putting it in a shape that can be used to change things. Maybe these are ice cubes to build a metaphorical igloo, a building, which are large ice cubes nonetheless. But that extroverted thinking is only interested in goals that relate to the things that my introverted intuition grabbed and wanted to make into a plan. And that's why, I will actually have small rushes of endorphin as I check things off. When this is a finished off thing and there's several messages up, I will feel differently. Um, my, I've mentioned this a couple of times, that 75% of my emotions have to do with I've set a goal, and am I moving piece by piece toward that goal? Even if the speed is glacial, am I taking steps to move towards? I have a mild, calm feeling of joy that arises if I've taken steps a given day to accomplish goals. And a sense of dissatisfaction, a sense of disgruntlement when I haven't, or when I feel that others have taken great steps to prevent those goals. That most of my emotional content has to do with goals and moving toward them. But my extroverted thinking is different than someone else's extroverted thinking. That is, I want to contrast that first of all with someone who has first function extroverted thinking. And ENTJ, they first and foremost see the world outside of them in its raw, unfiltered, unnuanced, unintuitive form and say, there's a problem. Someone with a good mind and some good skills needs to apply this and identify the problem, and then take out their intuition and try to make a plan and make something happen. So there's an action orientation, there's a response to plans other people see, or problems other people see, and becoming a person who's looked to as the problem solver to problems others see, which makes them someone that a lot of censors see as a logical leadership choice because they're focused on issues that everyone can see. The bottom line, or national security, or is your company needing to solve a particular problem related to security or related to investment? Um, my extroverted thinking is almost entirely motivated by the vision inside of my ocean of intuition. Um, it's generally takes money or doing a favor for somebody I care about from me to give any extroverted thinking to here's a visible human problem that lots of people see that is not in the realm of intuition. They say that INTJs aim for goals, targets that other people can't see. And I assure you, I'm aiming for targets that other people can't see. And the same thing would go for an ESTJ, except that they are not addressing abstract problems the way an ENTJ would. They are enforcing the expectations of sensory society. And very often enforcing the expectations of a hierarchy. Really, any kind of hierarchy will do, because ESTJs can be put to use in theocratic hierarchies, in self-justifying hierarchies. Not as well in project-based hierarchies, because I don't think that those ideas mean a lot to them, but certainly in paramilitaristic hierarchies. So the third function, extroverted thinking, that you would find in an ENFP is going to again look remarkably different. It's someone who, remember, is an NF, who sees the world in terms of abstract possibilities related to people and relationships. And they begin at intuition, so it's interesting, impulsive, crazy ideas. And how do I feel about them? How do these ideas make me feel? And how, will it bring me joy and excitement to accomplish those things? to make this risk. I always think the most ENFP that I can the most ENFP I can think of is Captain James Tiberius Kirk. He is a leader, but he is a man of impulse, and he's using intuition. It's a little bit under the radar to resolve big problems, and those are good, effective traits. But there's an impulsivity. But where the extroverted thinking lies, the black and white you will not cross this line of demarcation. You will not cross this Rubicon. Has to do with a set of black and white goals that are really personal to them, that never cross extroverted feeling lines, that never cross collaborative tool use lines. Now, any ENT can cross collaborative tool use lines, can come up with solutions that will break social rules and hurt people's feelings if they will accomplish a greater perceived thinking good or utilitarian good. But no collaborative tool user can. And so when they use extroverted thinking, it is having to do with these are unviolatable values that we think we all agree upon because of being, at least when you talk about SJs and NFs, collaborative tool users. These are unviolatable things that you can't possibly interfere with. It becomes a line that almost looks like a contradiction in their personality. I remember when I was an employer, I had a short-term ESFP employee who I kept trying to say, listen, this job's not for everybody. I want people to believe in it. And he kept, oh, I believe in it. I believe in it. Now, what he wanted was a job so that he could, he needed money to take his girlfriend to do things. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there's thousands of jobs that let you do that. But he had this third function extroverted thinking, saying, well, now to have the things I want, I have to have money. I have to have a job. And he became rigid in his statement that I will have a job. And I will say what I have to say to get that job because I'm a perceiver, because I'm an artisan, and I'm audacious, is what he would say. And it was a source of disappointment in our friendship because it became clear that he almost didn't even understand the question. Do you really get that I want somebody that really cares about this and is not just doing this for a paycheck? That I need somebody that cares about the work we're doing and isn't just, saying what I want to hear. Because I had many psychometric hurdles to overcome in finding the right people to do that kind of work, which could be a subject of a video at some point. Okay, so that is my theory of functional disequality. Hope that I've demonstrated that just because a function is described doesn't mean that it's the same thing in a given personality. My introverted feeling is so different than somebody else's introverted feeling. My introverted feeling is about the creative aesthetic things that I create, the things that have come from my intuition, born through the force of my extroverted thinking, that the creative things that I create, how I feel about them, that I care about them, the way that I shape them to be beautiful things, in terms of this experience we're having here, or the songs that I write, or the stories that I write. It's not the same thing. It doesn't cripple me socially the way that somebody's first function introverted feeling might. Or it doesn't support a set of guardian values the way that ISTJs will. I hope that that has given you something to think about. Functional disequality. If I have blessed or encouraged you, please like and subscribe.